You have 30 days to move out, my mom said with a smug smile, tapping her perfectly polished nails on my kitchen counter. We sold your apartment to Mia. I froze. This was my kitchen, where I'd cooked for family holidays, built my catering business from nothing, and taken care of my grandma in her last days. The morning sun streamed in, making the hardwood floors glow. It was my home. My name is Elena Carter, and at 35, I never thought my own family would kick me out of my own place. Don't act so surprised, my brother Daniel said, his arm around his wife. Mia, you're barely here anyway, always traveling for work. Mia needs a real home now that she's pregnant. Ah, the baby, of course. Another excuse for Daniel to get whatever he wanted, just like always. I took a slow sip of coffee, watching my mom's smirk falter when I didn't react. So selling my apartment was your solution? Well, technically, it's not yours, Mom said, pulling out a folder. Your dad and I kept our names on the deed when you moved in, for tax reasons. Her grin turned sharp. We signed the papers yesterday. Mia and Daniel get the place in 30 days. My stomach twisted, but then I remembered my grandma's warning before she passed. She'd sat right here in this kitchen, her voice weak but firm. They'll try to take it from you. Your mother never got over me not giving her this building. This place had been in my grandma's family for generations, a beautiful old building in the heart of the city. Mom had expected to inherit it all, but Grandma had other plans. I know what you did with the money I gave you, Grandma had told me that day, watching me bake her favorite bread. You built something real, unlike Daniel, wasting money on failed ideas, or Mia with her influencer nonsense. Then she handed me an envelope. Keep this safe, don't tell them until you have to. Now, facing my family's betrayal, I felt the weight of that envelope in my desk drawer upstairs. Actually, I said calmly, there's something you should see. I walked to my office, ignoring their impatient sighs. Mom had always hated that I turned the spare room into a workspace. A proper woman needs a guest room, she'd sniffed. I came back with my own folder, worn but organized. Before we talk about me leaving, you might want to look at this. What is it? Mia asked, rubbing her barely there baby bump. The real deed, I said, sliding it onto the counter, and the ownership papers for the building next door. Mom's face went white as she read. 2 properties, both legally mine for the past 3 years, signed by Grandma and notarized. The apartment had never been theirs. Grandma had kept their names on an old rental agreement to keep peace, but the real ownership went straight to me. This can't be real, Mom stammered, her voice shaking. Oh, it's real, I said. Mr. Henderson handled everything. At the mention of Grandma's lawyer, she flinched. You might want to check if your sale to Daniel and Mia is even valid. Hard to sell something you don't own. Daniel snatched the papers, his face turning red. You knew about this? You let us go through with the sale? I found out weeks ago, I admitted. Grandma always said it's best to let people show their true colors. Silence. Mia sank onto a stool, looking dazed. Mom stared at the deed like she could burn holes in it. You should have told us, she hissed. Like you should have told me you were selling my home? I shot back. The place I lived in for 10 years? Where I took care of Grandma while you all disappeared? Memories flooded in, late nights juggling my business and Grandma's care. Daniel was always too busy. Mom and Dad were conveniently traveling. They'd assumed the building would be theirs eventually, but Grandma had other plans. What are we supposed to do now? Mia whispered. We already sold our place. I almost felt bad for her. She was just caught in my family's mess. I'm not cruel, I said. The building next door has an empty unit, same layout. You can rent it, at market price. Rent? From my own sister? Daniel exploded. Or you can find something else, I said coolly, though the new luxury condos down the street cost twice as much. Mom stood abruptly, gathering her papers with shaky hands. This isn't over, she snapped, but her voice lacked its usual bite. It is, I said. This was Grandma's choice. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a meeting with my property manager. I watched them leave, Daniel avoiding my eyes. The next few days were busier than I expected. First, my dad called, angry, of course. He'd been conveniently missing during the big showdown in my kitchen. Your mother is devastated, he said, his voice dripping with disapproval. How could you humiliate the family like this? I was in my catering kitchen, decorating a wedding cake, when he rang. Humiliate the family? I repeated, carefully smoothing buttercream. By owning my own home? Or by stopping you from selling it out from under me? Don't be difficult, Elena. We were just trying to help Daniel. Family takes care of family. I scoffed. Funny. I don't remember any of you helping when I was sleeping on a cot next to Grandma's bed those last few months. Or when I was scraping by to start my business. Silence. Then a heavy sigh. Your mother wants to challenge the deed with our lawyer. Good luck, I said. Mr. Henderson has everything, signed papers, video of Grandma explaining her decision. But hey, if you want to waste money on lawyers instead of admitting you lost, go ahead. After he hung up, I got a surprise visitor. Mia stood in my doorway, looking smaller without Daniel or my mom beside her. Can we talk? She held up a bag from my favorite bakery. I come bearing peace offerings. I waved her in. Those better be lemon tarts. She smiled weakly. And chocolate croissants. I remember you inhaling these during wedding season last year. We sat in silence for a minute, the sweet smell of pastries mixing with the vanilla cake in front of me. Finally, Mia spoke. I didn't know, she said softly. Daniel told me your parents were giving us the apartment as a baby gift. I never thought. You never thought they were stealing it from me? She flinched but nodded. Daniel said you were fine with it, that you wanted a smaller place anyway. She picked at a croissant. I should have asked you myself. I studied her. Mia had joined our family wide-eyed and eager to please. Over the years, my mom and Daniel had shaped her into their perfect puppet, quitting her job, spending too much on designer clothes, always playing the perfect wife. The apartment next door, I said suddenly. My offer still stands. Same layout, needs some work, but it's yours if you want it. Her head snapped up. Seriously? After everything? One condition, I said. No family games. No running to my mom. If you and Daniel rent it, it's business. Fair price, professional terms. Daniel won't like that, she admitted. He thinks family shouldn't charge family. And how's that working for him? I shot back, thinking of his failed ventures bankrolled by our parents. Mia stared at her hands, then took a deep breath. Can I see it? The apartment? I grabbed my keys. Let's go. The building next door was nearly identical to mine, same 1920s charm, same sunlit rooms. The third-floor unit needed updates, but the bones were solid. It's gorgeous, Mia whispered, running a hand over the original hardwood. Needs work, I said, but I'm renovating anyway. If you take it, you can help pick finishes. She turned to me, eyes wet. Why are you being so nice? After what we did? Because you're the only one who apologized, I said simply. And maybe you're ready to stop letting them control you. Our phones buzzed simultaneously, the family group chat I'd muted. My mom had called an emergency family meeting for Sunday. Your father and I have decided the future of the properties, her text read. Attendance mandatory. Mia paled. What are they planning? I deleted the message. Nothing that matters. They don't own these buildings. Daniel will expect me to go, she said quietly. They'll want me to side against you. What do you want? I asked. She looked around the apartment. I wasn't going to go. Then Mia called me the night before, her voice shaking. They're planning something, she whispered. Daniel's been on secret calls with your dad's lawyer. They're saying your grandma wasn't in her right mind when she signed everything over to you. I stared at the photo on my desk, my grandma and me at my catering shop's grand opening. Let them try, I said. Mr. Henderson has videos of every meeting. She knew exactly what she was doing. There's more, Mia said. They're using my pregnancy, saying we deserve the properties more because we're starting a family. Daniel doesn't know I'm telling you. For the first time, Mia was choosing me over them. Thank you, I said. Will you be there tomorrow? Yes, she replied, firm. And I'm done playing their games. The family meeting. Sunday morning was crisp and golden, the kind of day Grandma would have loved. I pulled up to my parents' house right on time. The whole family was already there, gathered like a jury. Inside, the air was thick with tension. Mom sat stiffly in her favorite chair, lips pressed tight. Dad loomed behind her, holding a legal folder. Daniel paced by the window, shooting me a glare. The aunts and uncles filled the couches, watching. Mia sat slightly apart. When our eyes met, She gave a tiny nod. Elena, Mom said coldly, how gracious of you to join us. Wouldn't miss it, I said, staying on my feet, though I'm curious, why are we here? The properties are mine. Dad stepped forward, tapping the folder. Our lawyer has concerns. Your grandmother wasn't herself those last months. I laughed. You mean the months I took care of her while you all were too busy? You manipulated her, Daniel snapped, turned her against us. Before I could answer, Mia stood up. No, her voice was clear. I was there. Grandma was sharp. She chose Elena. The room went dead silent. Daniel gaped at her. Mia, sit down. No, she said, moving beside me. You're using our baby as an excuse to steal a home. I won't be part of it. Mom's face darkened. Sweetheart, you're emotional. Stop. Mia cut her off. Elena offered us a fair deal, but you just take. I pulled out my phone. Before this goes further, watch this. I cast the video to the TV. Suddenly, Grandma's face filled the screen. I'm recording this, she said, voice steady, because I know my daughter. She never forgave me for not handing her these buildings. But property isn't just ownership, it's stewardship. Elena understands that. The buildings are hers. The video showed her signing papers, Mr. Henderson verifying everything. When it ended, the room was dead silent. There's more, I said, medical records, witness statements. How far do you want to take this? Dad dropped his folder. Mom went pale. Daniel turned on Mia. You knew. You've been talking to her. Mia didn't flinch. Yes, because she's honest. She gave us a real chance, not schemes. I crossed my arms. The apartment next door is ready, but this ends now. No more challenges. The buildings are mine. Mom stood abruptly. Leave. We need time. Aftermath. Outside, the sunset painted the lawn gold. Mia walked me to my car. They'll never forgive us, she said. I thought of Grandma's words, about building something real. Then we'll build something better. 6 months later, the renovated apartment was stunning. Mia adjusted a vase of sunflowers in her new kitchen, her baby bump round under her dress. The nursery down the hall was ready. The marble countertops were worth it, she said, grinning. Daniel had finally taken a real job. He wasn't speaking to me yet, but Mia said he was changing. Mom showed up at my door one night, looking older. I've been thinking, she admitted, about what your grandma said, about building something real. She swallowed. I never did. The baby shower. Today, the apartment buzzed with laughter. Mia's baby shower, the first family event since the fallout. Your mom RSVP'd, Mia said, smirking. She's bringing her famous lemon squares. I raised an eyebrow. The one she never shared the recipe for? She offered to teach me. Mia winked. Baby steps. Outside, the city hummed. The buildings stood tall, just like always. But now, they held new stories. And that, I realized, was the real inheritance.